again to talking about the underlying principles of PRINCE2. We've already looked at the first three, which is continued business justification, learn from experience and define roles and responsibilities. And we've now come to the fourth principle, which is managed by stages. Now, why is it important to manage by stages? Now that to be fair, stages is not unique to PRINCE2. Yeah. You may call it phases, you may call it stages, you may call it sections, whatever, but generally it's a fundamental human way of handling lengthy tasks, activities, projects, by separating them into kind of chunks according to timeline. PRINCE2 stages, incidentally, do not overlap. We'll talk about more about that later on in the whys and wherefores, but in PRINCE2, a project along a timeline is separated into various stages. How many stages? Who knows? Depends on the necessity of the projects. Is it complex? Are there a lot of known or unknown factors? What's the proportion between them? What's the decision-making mechanisms, etc.? Okay, so now in terms of stages, common sense tells us that for a given project with a given duration, a given complexity, the number of stages is really how detail controlled we want it to be. The basis of a stage is that at the end of every stage, a decision has to be made on whether the projects should be allowed to move on to the next stage. For now, basically that's the idea of a stage. So at the end of stage one, senior management in charge of this particular project has to make a decision on stop, go, or changes before you go, that kind of thing. So in PRINCE2 we have stages, and the more risky, the more complex a project is, the more stages there will be. Common sense tells us that simple short projects have less stages. However, PRINCE2 dictates that there must be at least two stages. We'll see the first one to do more with planning, strategizing and all that, and followed by the second stage to develop the actual products of the project. So the second, third, fourth stages are to do that. Incidentally, closing a project is a process in PRINCE2 and not a real stage. Why? You'll find that out later on in one of the other sessions, but for now, just remember, PRINCE2 has a principle of managing by stages, and there must be at least two stages. You can read for yourself why, and the benefits of that. It limits exposures, it facilitates cost and effort estimation. It's harder to estimate a project over 12 months. You make a ballpark figure guess. You put in whatever work you can do to estimate the cost, duration, etc. of a project. However, in reality, we know that as we move along the timeline in the projects, we learn more about the projects. So basically, there will be likely changes made to subsequent stages. However, so it doesn't make sense to do day-to-day planning for the next 24 months of a 2-year projects, right? So basically, PRINCE2 sets two levels of planning. There is the projects plan, which is the overall plan, and there is the stage plan, which you are obliged to plan in detail as and when you come towards it. So detail planning at the stage part of the cycle, and overall planning in the projects plan for the whole project. Two stages. So basically that gives an additional mechanism for senior management to stop a project that has gone off track in good time, at the end of every stage, where there's an obligation to make that kind of decision, either stop or go ahead. And we have come to the end of a Quickie introduction on managed by stages, which is a principle in PRINCE2. Okay, so until we meet again, we'll talk about that. The next principle, which is managed by exception. Bye bye.